Go.
Alright. Going to continue just talking to everybody.
I'm going.
As you do in this game. Kanadu. This large, bald, broad-shouldered man turns to face you. You freeze. It's not his dark cloak or his sledgehammer. It's that beneath his mustache and goatee, he is so ugly that he'd scare his own mother in a dark alley. That is a great description of a man. He gives you an abrupt nod, and you get the distinct impression that here stands a man who enjoys the boredom of standing guard and the company of his own thoughts. Nothing to see here until you pay El Ginto, he says when it's clear that you aren't moving on. With that, he returns his gaze to the distant sea. What's the thing in the cage? Oh boy. That thing. Nichthymeron? Thimeron? Nychthymeron? Something along those lines. El Ginto will tell you about it if that's what you want. How did you capture it? Long story, Kanadu drawls, then falls into silence. Apparently, that wasn't an introduction, but an excuse. He sees you staring and adds, ask El Ginto. He's the talker. I watch the beast. I feel like this is gonna be... Yeah, I'm just gonna go talk to El Ginto. In front of you is a wary traveler whose grim visage is mostly obscured by a pointy hat. On closer inspection, the lines of his face indicate he has seen much and has many tales to tell. I could be here a while, folks. Hello there, friend, he says. Here to see the Nychthymeron? I'm never going to say that consistently, ever. My friend in the cage over there, or are you just looking to spend a word or two? I want to see the creature up close. Your curiosity does you credit, friend. It will only cost you 25 shins. I mean, I don't want to see it that bad. I don't want to spend my money. We'll be here, he says. His knowing smile crinkles the skin around his eyes. If you know, you change your mind. I do have some questions about it, though. He's far from mine, friend, El Ginto says with a raspy chuckle, as you'll likely see if I get too close to the cage. He tips his hat to you. Go on, ask your questions. What is a whatever the hell that thing is? A biomechanical union of stubborn curiosity and frothing malice, he says. Who made them, no one can say, but they cannot be trusted or befriended. Cross their paths or thwart their incomprehensible whims, and they'll kill you if they can. Wonderful. And you just have it in the middle of the city in a force-fielded thing. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Alright, wait, you call the creature a he. Is it male? Could be female, or genderless, or mini-gendered. Who can say? I have our friend imprisoned, and I feel better about that fact if I don't call him it. Fair enough. What do you plan to do it when you're done showing it off? We are likely to release it and run as if every kind of demon in the world is after us. We're not trappers, see, we're explorers, and we're only in this to save up some coin for a journey across a long patch of ground. He rubs the back of his neck. Not that our motives make much difference to our guest. He'll want to boil our skins once we let him go, and I can't say I blame him. Fair enough. Perfectly fair enough, actually. So, how did you capture the creature? I suppose you could blame luck, he says. Little early to call it good or bad, though. His eyes seek the sky as he begins his story. I was working on, well, call it a trap. In a valley through some nameless ruin, Kanadu was off hunting for dinner, and I work in a daze. Always do when I'm concentrating. A smile flits across his face. Near sunset, the trap was still in pieces, and I heard Kanadu roaring my name. I turned just in time to see our guest bearing down on me. The creature's volley of molten energy crackled off the personal barrier I'd left active while building the trap, but I knew it couldn't hold. Then, Kanadu leapt off the valley edge into the thing's back, bashing it with his hammer. It shrieked, and then night fell, and the creature went still. El Ginto shrugs. I worked, to touch frantically, I admit, to finish the trap. It hadn't been designed for our guest, but as you can see, it worked, as he gestures toward the creature. Alright, how'd you get him into the city? That's, a fair question, he says, casting a lazy glance back at the cage. But a longer answer, and not as interesting as I'd like. So let's just say the trap is more collapsible than it appears. Ooh, magic like portal-y maybe? That's kind of like... That's cool. That's really cool. What did you say you were doing after this? Showing off the creature? Let it go free, longer from civilization, of course. Can't have it burning the kindly people of Saga's protectorate in their beds. Alright, I figured I wanted to know, like, hey, where are you guys going? I feel like, you know, travelers, screw it. I will ask him. It must be in desperate shape if you're patrolling the circus, talking to strangers, he says. Do you have a piece of the device? Might be that I can offer my opinion. Perception. The man's face carries the impenetrable nonchalance of a lifelong gambler, but even so, you spot a hint of curiosity, hunger even, deep in his glittering eyes. Can you come look at the device? Kanadu would never forgive me if I left him alone, he says. He might end up having to talk to someone. When that happens, he's in a mood for days. Well, he already talked to me, so sorry, man. He rubs the back of his hand across his mouth. I take it that means you don't have it on you. Sure I can't convince you? Not a chance. I'm needed here, sure as water falls and dust rises. Don't have it on you, eh? No. Sadly, I do not. Can't help you fix something I've never seen, he says. Sorry, friend. Fair enough. Well, farewell.
Yes. Now.
Interesting, too, though. Hopefully I'll see them again. Maybe. I don't know how hopeful I am of that, actually. I feel like the first thing I should do is go buy some weapons and stuff, but I also feel like I'm going to attempt to talk my way out of anything I get into. Best of my ability. Arms merchant. The sign over the stall says the arming room. Buy, sell, trade under the awning, and a skinny man with stooped shoulders and concave chest is cleaning a filth-caked weapon of some kind. He salutes you with a greasy hand. Done in a moment. Have a look around. If you need anything, let me know. What can you tell me about Saga's Cliffs? Ask the general merchant what he could tell me about the town I'm currently in. Sounds like a good idea. I got caught reading without reading it out loud. Good place for the arms trade. Not much call for weapons in the city proper, it's true. The levies keep things quiet, he shrugs. I get most of my business from mercenary companies. The endless battle draws them by the dozens. Explorers, too. Plenty of carkers save up their shins and kit themselves out, all fancy-like. Then they wander down the reef or into the bloom and never come back. That sounds like... It sounds like majority of D&D parties I've heard of and or sometimes been a part of. Tell me again what you know about Saga's Cliffs? No, I just asked him that. Show me what you have for sale. Because, why not? Deals 13 physical damage and confers bleeding. I'm gonna save that still. Feel like I want a light melee. The rapier. Feel like that's what I want. I want it. Costs 18.
Good balance.
Apparently I bought it. The view shard is an oddity. Isn't that what I used? No. Children in a field, a sequence of them play a simple ball game repeat itself. After repeated viewings, you notice a small child standing further away in the field. The fourth child is looking directly at you. Your large eyes brim with fear. Oh no, I don't mean to sell that. I sold it. I was right-clicking. I pressed the sell button. Oh no. Well, shoot. I hope I don't need that. I suppose it may be here later, and I can come back and buy it again. But, well, man, that's a shame. I guess I could sell one of these things. I don't need... You know, I don't need this. I'll sell that. I'll sell that, and I'll buy my thing back. Despite that being the worst possible use of my money. I don't want to give up the view shard. I kicked a thing, broke it, just to get this thing. I do not want to give it up that easily.
Of course.
Especially on an accident. And I don't want to reload either, so... Yep, I did the really smart thing of totally just selling it.
I'm ready.
Alright. I suppose I will talk to these guys next. Felinda, nearly every inch of this merchant's body is covered in tightly wound robes and furs. A hood obscures its head and a mask conceals its face. This doesn't stop you from noticing that it is apparently furious with you. Trembling, it bats at its similarly dressed companion. Both of them turn impassive masks back to you. Neither Felinda nor Sturristy could believe it, but the thief had come back. Had he come in shame, ready to return what he had taken? No, his hands were empty, his expression baffled. They're saying to me, they're narrating something that I'm not a part of, they're playing their own game. Felinda crossed Swaddle's arms. Perhaps the thief had simply forgotten to return what he had borrowed, but this made him no less a thief. Are you narrating me? The thief said, trying to... Awesome. The thief said, trying to distract Felinda from the matter at hand, but the merchant would not be distracted. 10 years ago, this thief had borrowed a book. Felinda wondered if the scoundrel was possibly unfamiliar with the definition of the word. It did not mean taking a thing and keeping it, after all. Sturristy pointedly returns to work, ignoring you both. Felinda sighs, massaging its temples with gloved hands. But in the end, Felinda took a deep, deep breath and asked the thief to simply return the sealed and long overdue book with the 5-colored sigil on its cover. I'm going to ask that because that's pretty great. The cunning thief said, hoping to arouse doubt in Felinda's mind, but the hope was a foolish one. Felinda was memory in the same way that the thief was fatty tissue, fluids, and chunk of calcium. The merchant crossed his arms. Felinda was out of patience. Was the thief going to return the book or not? I can't promise anything, but I will look for it. The thief muttered, ashamed, but Felinda was satisfied, temporarily. And with that, the merchant returned to its work as well. Why do you narrate everything I say? I have to know. The thief said, but Felinda knew from long experience that there was no explaining it. The merchant kneeled before a bookshelf and jams book after book into the remaining space. This frustrated Felinda. After all, the two merchants were creatures of words, bound in metal and cloth, but whenever Felinda tried to bend the same words into explanations and answers, they crumbled and fell apart. They could not fold themselves around the truth. The merchant slams the final book into place, and so Felinda said nothing. I want to keep pushing it, but I feel like it's going to annoy her. But I'm going to keep pushing it anyway. The thief pleaded. He still did not understand that Felinda wasn't speaking. That what the thief was hearing was the passage of time. That's kind of...
Making a note.
Kind of creepy. But I will look for that book. I have no problem looking for books. Let's just talk to Sturtsy. Does Sturtsy do the same thing? The silent merchant traces dark fingers over a cracked scroll. It appears to be ignoring you as politely as possible. Just gonna watch her work. The merchant's spread fingered hands glide over a faded parchment with the faint sounds of quill scratching. Vibrant letters in an unfamiliar tongue appear on their wake. I'm gonna keep watching her work. The merchant again passes a hand over the page, and you hear the scrape of quill on paper. Dark letters emerge from the shadow of that hand, as if pulled from beneath the page. I'm gonna keep watching her work. Does the same thing. Okay, well, why is your partner narrating me? I'm gonna ask, and probably receive nothing. Perfect. Why don't you talk? Good talk.
Yes.
Gonna go talk to some other people. Hey, look, see here. Every prophet's gotta eat. How about a little donation, eh? No,
Let's go.
I'm good. Thanks, though. Thanks for... You know what's sad? He says, like, no, you can't look at the creature up close. But I can... Oh, God! You inch closer to the lattice of energy that holds the creature, and as you lean in, the ugly glaive with a sledgehammer slung over his shoulder shouts at you. Aye, no gawking for free. Pay El Gento or get gone. He glowers at you, hand reaching for his haft of his hammer until you step away from the cage.
Yes.
I mean, to be entirely honest, I can see that, like, it's a very big creature. You aren't going to be able to avoid everyone being able to see it. I guess just not a close look, eh? There's Crier. Someone else with a name over there. So just a general performer. Sing songs of roaming shadows, of eye and bloody claw, of tooth and burning meadow, of hunger red and raw. Levy. Good day to you, visitor.
Fine.
Good day to you as well, Levy. That is now your name. Just as these children's names are both child. It does get confusing.
All right.
Belisar. This thin, fidgeting Aeon priest shoots furtive, sidelong glances at the creature in the nearby cage while humming a nonchalant tune. When he sees that you're watching him, he flinches. Over the course of a few frantic breaths, shock becomes embarrassed anger, and he opens his mouth to shout at you. Yes, what is it? What is so God's damn fascinating about me that you feel the need to stare? You seem nervous, sir. I'm not, he says, his eyes stealing to the cage creature again. I just don't like it when people sneak up on me. I didn't sneak up on you, man. I literally walked in front of you, a little bit down, and then right back to you. Like, you could have seen me. There was no sneaking involved. Well, what do you know about the creature over there? What? Belisar says, jumping. He takes a breath and struggles to sound offhand. It's that thing. A biomechanical creature, an information gatherer, in fact. He seems to calm down as he warms to the topic. They're dangerous, though. You can only speak to them at night. During daylight, they'll attack without provocation. You're planning something, aren't you? Belisar weighs the intent of your words with narrowed eyes. Are you with the Order of Truth or just snooping? Ooh. Friend of the Order. Like, no problem, man. Don't worry about it. Maybe? Haha! Really? You can see the doubt on his face, but it quickly gives way to release. I thought they would just have sent someone by now. They would have sent someone by now, but you'll have to suffice. I'm working on something dangerous and important. Belisar glances around the plaza as if looking for spies, then he beckons you to him. I have a device, he says in a hoarse whisper that can probably be heard from meters away, just like me sneaking up on him. If someone can get close enough to affix it to the creature's cage, it will activate and teleport the Nycthemeron to the Reef of Fallen Worlds. He snickers and rubs his hand together, and then... You'll set it free? What? Of course not, he crows. Why would I go through all this trouble to help the creature? Oops. Biomechanical organisms fascinate me, and those things doubly so. I've never gotten to examine one up close, so I want you to teleport the creature out of its cage, kill it, and bring me the memory organ. Alright, give me the device. Now, this is...
Of course.
This is funny to me.
All right.
I feel like I want to tell El Jinto about what's happening, if it lets me. El Jinto takes the device Belisar gave you and examines it grimly. The young idiot. We caught him fiddling with the cage before, and I thought I'd scared him off. Apparently not. Indigo Tide raises a small amount. He sighs and pockets the device. I understand him better than I'd like. We build our lives on the kindling of our ambitions, and hope for a bonfire before something blows it out. El Jinto shakes his head. I made a study of the Nycthemeron during the journey here. If that little fool had only asked, I might have shared my findings with him. You still can't. Let him learn from your experience. Why not? Hardly seems fair, he says, considering your words, but you're right. I'm not a young man, and it'd be good to know I helped someone along the path before he stops himself and then continues, before I left town. That's suspicious. He reaches into the bags and hands you a bundle of well-worn notes. Then he glances over your shoulder. Trouble coming, friend. Belisar's stomping towards you, and he looks furious. Hi! I told him about your thingy. I trusted you, he shouts, frustrated tears shimmering in the corner of his eyes, refusing to fall. El Jinto steps back to a discreet distance, an expression of sadness crossing his face. You think you've won, he hisses. One tear escapes and streaks down his bony cheek. You think this is the first time I've ever been betrayed? Panting with rage, he jams a finger in your face. I'm going to tell the Order of Truth that you've betrayed an Aeon priest on a secret mission. Everyone is going to know you can't be trusted.
Making a note.
You hold out the notes, and Belisar snatches them from your hand. As his eyes widen, you explain how you got them. This is more than I expected to learn on my own, Belisar whispers, flushing. All that time spent on subterfuge, and I could have just asked? Thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you. He shouts at El Jinto. The seasoned explorer cringes and gives him a little wave. Poor guy. Poor guy. Belzar hands you your reward, then wanders away, flipping through the pages. Alright. Psychic Guard. Spines of the Selexia. I've never heard of these. Alrighty. So what was that he just gave me?
Let's go.
He just gave... I'm running away. Just gave me some... Your inventory lets you view, equip, and manage... I already know this. I don't care. I don't care. +1 training level and a cipher use skill allows you to carry additional ciphers. I mean... I don't need it, but... I'll equip it for fun. Because I have nothing else. No other reason. Let me talk to El Jinto again, see if he has any more to say on what just occurred. Nope. Nothing. That's alright, I'll move on. That was a fun little incursion. Is the thing following me around? Or is it just when I get too close?
Alright.
I'm making it mad. Alright, let's see who else is around here. Anyone else I could talk to? Changing God Cultist. Changing God Cultist. These are people. These are my people. Look, it's one of the Death Cheater's vessels. Ah, can it be? What fortune, what joy! Castamine will want to see you, Vessel, and Mimion too. Kill the Reds, kill the Reds, kill the Reds. That's all I'm thinking of right now. They're all wearing blue.
Let's go.
That's what came to my mind. This structure is embedded in the ground. It was clearly not made by the same people who built Circus Minor. It looks as though the device extends deeper into the ground below the road. Weathered runes are spread across the device's surface. I suppose I will leave the device alone for now.
Let's go.
I said a whole bunch of people want to see me, but I have no idea where these people are. There's a crier, there's a levy. What's the crier crying about? Rogue Stitches spotted in Cliff's Edge. Lord Vuntine promises to track the beast down.
Alright.
Okay. Don't know what those are. I'm sure I'll fight them eventually. Autochthon? Man, I'm gonna struggle with some of these words. It is unhealthy, this language. It is chewy and full of strangeness. Let's see what's going on over here. Sagas townsperson. I don't know where this goes.
Of course.
I'm kinda... to Cliff's Edge. So this goes to Cliff's Edge, which is not where I want to go right now. I want to either go to the Order of Truth or to the Underbelly. There's a mutant. Never talked to a mutant before. The sun is nourishing today, is it not? Maybe for you, not for me. Moving on. Oh, look, the people...
Alright.
I feel like this goes to the Underbelly. I suppose I'll talk to these...
Ready.
What is this? As you approach the clock, apparently it's a clock, there is a pause in the argument the duo next to it are having. The petite woman turns towards you. Her hair is unusual. A light, almost yellow color, and her bright eyes dominate her pretty face. Excuse me, but my colleague and I were having a discussion and... She notices that I am a cast-off. Her eyes fall upon your tattoo, and her breath catches audibly in her throat. Her partner is an unnaturally tall man, gaunt and sour-faced. His voice sonorous, God, words, with fingers that twitch and weave through strange contortions. Occasionally, light sparks in the air as he does. He turns to you and opens his mouth to speak, registers your tattoo, and closes it again. His throat bobs for a moment, and he says, "It is an honor." He collects himself. If I might impose on your time for a moment, will you tell me about your tattoo? How did you shape it? Do you know why it differs from others? Don't know. You have been touched by the changing God, she whispers, his mind sheltered in you. Oh, she whispers, his mind sheltered in you. He shared his dreams, his power with your mind. And when he left your body, he created you. She swallows. The tattoo marks you, all of you, with his symbol. It grows and changes as you mature so that it becomes your symbol instead. There are more of you. They call you cast-offs. She cocks her head, studying you. You are welcome here, revered one. We stand ready to serve as we can. Have you any questions for us? I would like a place to stay. No? Okay. Who are you? I know who they are, but I'm going to ask anyway. He considers your words before answering, a thoughtful pause. I am Mimeon. I am one of the leaders of the cult of the Changing God in Saga's Cliffs, and my primary duty is as chief activist. My colleague is Kasmin. She is responsible for the day-to-day administration of our encampment. You know, the way Calistege made them sound were like they were a bunch of complete radical crazies. And besides the kill the Reds, kill the Reds, kill the Reds feeling I was getting earlier, they seem kind of okay to me. In general. Currently, so far. What can you tell me about the city? The city your sire built and defended? The cradle of civilization? The center of empire knowledge? His eyebrows rise and his slow tone is effusive. It is among the great works of humanity in the Ninth World, built on the foundations laid by unknown creators. It has risen to become one of the preeminent cities in Garavia Sound. He pauses. It is somewhat diminished in these latter years, to be sure. Perhaps if the Changing God were to return to lead us to glory. You know anything about the sorrow? Shudders and touches herself ritualistically on the forehead and on her lips. A monster of deepest nightmare. I have heard that it wants you dead. Every one of the Holy One's creations. All dead. I don't know why, but it hates you. Thanks. And can you tell me the meaning of my tattoo? He bows. You are a cast-off of the Changing God, our inspiration. The man who has cheated death for centuries so that he might accumulate wisdom. He wears bodies like clothes and abandons them when he has exhausted his studies in them. Yet when he leaves, a spark of consciousness remains. Your consciousness, revered one. What can you tell me about, my sire? I like the, in there. You mean the most accomplished inventor of our time? The hero of Saga's Cliffs? The man who dodged death itself? The Time Weaver? The man who destroyed the Tabat? Oh, we have so much to say. She catches herself. But perhaps we should wait for another time. I totally thought that was the guy speaking. Not that my voice changes for characters too much, but still. I don't want to hear their whole spiel. Do you know anything about a device called the Resonance Chamber? Rumors and conjecture, nothing more. Idle speculation from those who wish to pretend to knowledge of your sire's motivations, passed along as fact. He leans out to touch you. Have you seen it? Do you know where it is? What it does? The Resonance Chamber is in the Reef of Fallen Worlds under a broken dome. Ooh, I need to know who can repair it. So you have seen it. You have touched it. She catches herself. She seems almost overwhelmed. Your tattoo, like all the others, but this one is different. She looks sharply at you now, all distraction gone. I do not recognize you, he says. You do not match any description we have recorded. She snaps her fingers as if she's finally figuring out a mystery. Wait, let me remember your face. She studies you carefully. Oh my, you're new. Are you the Changing God? Can it be? She reaches out to touch your sleeve and pulls her hand back quickly. Yes, I am your god. I don't want to say that. I feel like that's not the right thing. He nods, satisfied. As I thought, you are a cast-off, one of his children. He touches you with his long-fingered hand as if in consolation. There is no shame in such a thing. Many cast-offs have come to our attention, and some of them have sought to deceive us so that they might seem more important. He smiles softly. If you are as new as we suspect, it's better for you, for us, to know the truth of your existence than to bluster and lie. I don't know my existence, so... She touches your shoulder. Are you sure you're not? She catches herself. No, why would you lie about that? With a noticeable effort, she wrenches herself into optimism, and she chirps. But you're new, aren't you? You're new. Have you decided what you'll do, what you'll be? Your sire's other children have done amazing things, amazing, and no doubt you will as well. I feel like she talks really fast. I don't know why. And I don't know why I'm attempting to truly try to roleplay any of these characters, because I don't know them, but... Hey, I do what I do. He lays a hand on her shoulder, and his voice in low, cautionary, Cass. She looks away from you for a moment, swallowing sudden tears, and he says, We have a request for you. He gestures toward the clock behind him. Dark figures circumambulate these clock faces. I theorize that your sire's creation of the time shields that protected this city established a connection with his future selves. Given this, we believe those figures may be cast-offs, or ghosts of cast-offs, perhaps. The living shells of the bodies your creator has worn previously. His fingers shrug eloquently for him. The clock is unmoored in time, you see. We do not have a knowledge sufficient to investigate, but you might. You might have a connection with he who created the clock. You should be able to align it with the present time and uncover who these figures are. A gentle, rare smile appears. If you cannot, at least you will increase our store of knowledge. She smiles bravely, looking between Mimion and you, and says, and then we can answer the question you must have, right, Mim? I mean, screw it. His composure breaks for a moment, and a wash of release floods his face. This will be a true gift to knowledge, Rivered One. Perhaps you can find an answer where others have failed. You will have our thanks, our boundless praise. We will answer what we can for you then. Return to us, Rivered One. We will wait.
I'll remember that.
Crap. What did I just agree to? Oh, fix the clock in Circus Minor and investigate the local leaders of Changing God. Vice Card long ago, complaining man, the clock appears to be unmoored in time, so I won't be able to investigate the figures until I've realigned it with the present time. How the heck do I do that? Its purpose is unclear, but with 3 circular faces set in the ground remind you of clocks. Something is wrong with the machine, however. It's partially transparent, shimmering in the air when you look directly at it. The clock faces seem to show several different times at once. You know who knows stuff about several different times at once right now? Calstige. Humanoid silhouettes ripple beneath the central clock face. One places his hand against the face as though it were a glass wall. They seem to be watching you. Examine the machine. The towering mechanisms waver in the air, similar to Calstige. Hey. It appears to be in several states at once, although all of the machine's states are in the exact same location. You can't touch it either. Your hand passes right through the structure. As you pull your hand away, a memory strikes you as powerfully as if someone took a club to your chest. Ow. You are working at the clock. It is no longer transparent, but perfectly solid. There is a noise behind you, so they've come. The 3 traitors. They think to surprise you, but though the powers of the clock, you have foreseen this moment. There is the faintest sound of metal sliding against leather. You slap a hand on the central clock face, activating the clock's arcane powers. You're not sure what it will do to them, but it's better than what they'll do to you. There's a flash. Arcs of energy stretch out from the clock over your shoulders to your would-be attackers. You don't see what happens to them, but they quickly disappear along with their screams. As the last shreds of the memory fade, a swirl of energy passes through your body. Cold barbs prick every muscle. Suddenly, tidal forces arch from the clock to 3 ancient devices in the cultist encampment. The clock recognizes something inside you, or maybe vice versa. Either way, you have inadvertently activated the nearby devices.
I'll remember that.
Oops! I didn't even realize there was one in the middle there. Apparently I did it. We struck a bargain, Rivered One. We would be poor in spirit indeed if we did not honor our promises. Yet I see the clock remains unfixed, and you bring us no new knowledge of its workings, he bows regretfully. Oh. Alright. I see. I see how this is going.
Yes.
You know, I am going to save and continue this next time.